Do I like it like that? I don't know. You're probably just gonna hear how much I love Pedro Pascal, but that is fine. And you can, oh, did you hear my wrist click? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Kelsey. I'm the creator of Bite Size Ancient History, and I'm here to talk about all things ancient history, ancient mythology, classics, Egyptology, whatever you fancy. So if that sounds like something you might be interested in, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and to give this video a big thumbs up because it will help me out a lot. A little bit about me. So I firstly went to the University of Warwick for my undergraduate degree in classics, and then I got my master's degree in Egyptology from the University of Cambridge in Lucy Cavendish College, if you know. If you know, you know. If you are already a subscriber and you don't have me on other social media platforms, I am so sorry. I am alive. I know it's been a while. I'm sorry for any commitment issues caused by my absence, but I am back now, and hopefully that is good news for all of you. And I am back with a vengeance because today we're going to be talking about the trailer for Gladiator II. We're going to be discussing whether it is inaccurate, accurate, and basically just how excited I am. And you're probably just going to hear how much I love Pedro Pascal, but that is fine. It's been a while since I've said this, but without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, let's semi-get into it, because I feel like from what I've seen in the trailer, it's important that you have watched the first Gladiator movie. If you haven't, and you don't want to watch it for some reason, I mean, first of all, look in the mirror, think about what you're doing with your life, but fine. I do already have a little video breakdown on my channel, so I'm going to link that down below, and you can, oh, did you hear my wrist click? That's bad. I'm going to link it down below, and then you can go learn everything that you need to know going into the second movie. Brief summary. Gladiator I came out in 2000 with Russell Crowe and Joaquin Phoenix kind of being the title celebrities? You know what I mean. Won loads of awards. Very, very famous, very, very influential movie. So you should just go watch it as well. But watch my video too. You could do both. So what I've learned from my Googling about the plot of Gladiator II is that we're going to have Paul Mescal, Paul Mescal, that is actually how you correct it, I'm going back. Paul Mescal playing the character of Lucius Verus. Lucius Verus being the child of Lucilla, who's actually one of the characters in Gladiator I, the sister of Commodus, and then also the daughter of Marcus Aurelius. So in the Roman Empire royal family, very important person. So, was Lucius Verus a real person? Yes, can confirm that Lucilla did have a son with this exact name. So we are actually going with historical fact from the off. Absolutely obsessed. Lucius Verus is quite an interesting choice because we know that he existed thanks to authors like Cassius Dio. However, we also kind of know that he died in his childhood at a very early age, but that is it in the historical record. We know he existed and that he died in childhood, but other than that, we don't know anything. So it's kind of an interesting move because we can't critique, other than the existence of the film, because he wouldn't have been able to grow up to become Paul Mescal, we can't critique a lot because we don't know. So it's cool. I kind of like it as a choice. I can't argue with it too much. Also, if and when you do your own historical research, forewarning, there's going to be confusion because she has Lucius Verus with a man called Lucius Verus, okay? So we're talking about the son when we talk about Paul Mescal's character, not the Lucius Verus, which was a co-Roman emperor with Marcus Aurelius, her father. So there you go. It's the Roman Empire is a lot. It's confusing. Also, it's her father's adopted brother. So do with that what you will. Not uncommon, right? Okay, ancient times. Different weird place, especially with the ruling families. However, an important part of the premise of this movie is the fact that Lucilla and her son Lucius Verus are sent over to Numidia after the death of Commodus. And you see the death of Commodus at the end of the first movie. Sorry, spoilers. In the movie, Commodus is killed by Maximus in a fight scene as a gladiator. In real life, as I would have said in my video, this unfortunately is not what happened. He died as the result of a conspiracy. And his sister Lucilla actually assisted with this conspiracy, which you do get undertones of in the trailer that I'll go into more detail when we get to that part. But after this, basically Lucilla and her children are sent over to the island of Capri, not Numidia. So I don't know why we've changed that, but it's fine. I'm really excited to say as well that the costumes in this trailer look pretty accurate, so that's quite exciting. So specifically, when we first see Paul Mescal in his Gladiator uniform, he is wearing this leather breastplate, which is obviously like enhancing the way his abs look a little bit. And this is something they actually would have fought in, and it's called a musculata.
I remember that day. I never forgot it. That a slave could take revenge against an emperor.
Paul Mescal, in his first opening line, says, "I never forget that day that a slave could take on a Roman emperor." As I've said in my previous video with the first Gladiator movie, no, not really. It's nice for a movie. It's fine. We get it. Some Roman emperors did take part, but you wouldn't have been able to kill them or anything. And yes, prisoners like this would have had the option to be a gladiator and fight like this, and they could in theory fight for their freedom, as we see in the movie.
Where were you born?
I don't know. I never knew a mother nor a father.
You will be my instrument.
Then we also meet a character called Macrinus, played by Denzel Washington, and he basically takes Paul Mescal under his wing to almost train him as a gladiator to help him take down Caracalla and so on. This was a real person. This was a very real, significant figure in Roman history. He acted as Praetorian prefect, so a royal guard under the rule of Caracalla. So, with Commodus dead, we do have two new Roman emperors, and that is Caracalla and Geta, who did reign around 20 years after, so that's pretty accurate. With Caracalla's reign starting in 198 AD or CE. And he becomes co-ruler with his brother Geta in 109 CE. He was widely believed to be involved in a conspiracy to be later carried out against him. So we'll get to that at some point, I imagine. Although I don't even know if it's spoilers, because it's based on history. So I'm trying to tread the line between giving you the history behind it and not spoiling the movie. But I don't necessarily know where the movie's gonna go. Caracalla gets assassinated. And it's fair that people thought this, because mysteriously, after his death, Macrinus becomes emperor. So it really worked out in his favour by accident.
Who are you?
Did you hear that crowd? The greatest temple.
So then that brings us to Pedro Pascal's character, Marcus Acacius. Acacius, I'm going to assume is how we're pronouncing it. Is not a real person. Unfortunately, no historical record for this person. Supposedly, he is at war in this region and brings back Lucius Verus as a prisoner of war. He looks beautiful in this outfit, that bright white outfit. I just poked myself in the eye. Okay, I just got carried away. Unfortunately, we don't really have any historical evidence to support that they would have been wearing this white breastplate like he is. They'd either be made from precious metals and not really painted white, or they'd be made from leather. So unfortunately, no. But it does look good and does make him stand out. And I think it works for the purpose of the film, where you have this contrast of Paul Mescal looking really dirty and earthy, and then Pedro Pascal gleaming from the distance in his triumph. Triumph is a celebration of military conquest, and you would kind of go through the streets of Rome and be a big party. They go through on their chariot in some fancy clothes, but unfortunately not these fancy clothes. Sorry.
Temple Rome ever built. The Colosseum. Because this is what they believe in. Power.
Literally from the off, we are shown the Colosseum, and it is filled with water and boats inside it. And this may be a time when you're thinking, obviously that didn't happen, that's completely inaccurate. Actually, very, very cool that even though this is a wild thing, it did happen. We have written evidence saying that they used to do this as part of entertainment. So both the Roman writers Suetonius, writing the 1st century CE, and Acacius, writing in the 2nd century CE, recall times where venues like the Colosseum have been filled with water in order to recreate naval battles as part of like a celebration or a triumph of the victories of those in charge at the time. These were called naumachia, or naumachii, the plural. So Suetonius mentions that Emperor Titus in 80 CE floods the Colosseum to have a naumachia, or naval battle, to inaugurate the venue. While there's limited archaeological evidence to help us really understand like the logistics behind doing such a performance, we do have evidence of a drainage system under venues like the Colosseum. So maybe, and it makes sense that it was happening if there are people writing about it. Maybe it wouldn't have been quite as grand as we see it in the movie, but there is backing for this one, and I love that. So we also meet, I'm really sorry it's raining as well, if you can hear that. We meet Joseph Quinn, who is playing Caracalla, and he's shown in this kind of like bright, like kind of crusty white makeup. Both men and women of significant status in ancient Rome at this time would have been wearing makeup. Probably not quite like this, where he's standing out so much compared to the other ones. So that's like we don't have a historical record to say that he would have been looking like that kind of clown, like almost like Georgian level of like, whoa, makeup, unfortunately. However, he is noted as being an emperor that was very influenced by the luxuries that were coming over from the east of the empire at empire at the time. So I kind of get why they've depicted him in this slightly more extravagant way to get this personality trait. Like, I get that.
General Acacius, there are victories yet still to come.
Rome has so many subjects. She must feed them.
They can eat war.
We also see a war kind of taking place, like almost at this wall, and there's stuff being thrown. I don't know which one they're referring to, but there were ones that took place during his reign, so I'm guessing when we see the film we'll learn a little bit more. But the weapons that are being used are pretty accurate. You see a Roman scutum, which is their shield, which has the right shape. I'm going to pick a picture as well, like they have one in the British Museum right now from their like Roman Legion exhibit, and it's pretty similar to that, so big thumbs up. We also see them doing this very real like military formation called a testudo, which is literally Latin for turtle, and you can kind of get why it'd be called turtle, and it's basically going to protect all of the soldiers in the area around it as they use their shields to cover them all from incoming stuff from above.
Turn slaves into gladiators, the gladiators into free men.
You have something in you. I knew it from the start.
Did you now?
Rage. And rage is your gift.
This is about survival! Survive! Hold together, and when it charges, break for the wall.
Okay, and then very, very cool, he is riding a rhino in one of the gladiator battles. While we have tons of evidence where they would be having to fight exotic animals as another kind of performance, instead of it just being like a man fighting a man, it would often be a man fighting a exotic beast. This was reserved as like very, very special celebration shows. And unfortunately, we don't have any written evidence of a rhinoceros being used. So I don't know why they chose to do this, because we have plenty of other animal options. They just ignored that. Again, this is like a weird one where I don't really know why they changed it, but oh well.
Whose head could I give you that would satisfy this fury?
The entire Roman armies.
Too much?
The general will do.
Then we also see Paul Mescal's character using a crossbow against Pedro Pascal. And what's the name of his character? I can't remember. Oh, I can't remember. Acacius. His name is Acacius. Crossbows wouldn't have been used by gladiators or like the Roman military. It wasn't very common. I don't know, but c'est la vie.
Rome must fall. I need only give it a push.
We see a little clip of the Roman Senate. The Senate is a very real thing, obviously still exists in America, where it was significant men who had been voted into power in ancient Rome, and they were wearing white robes like that. These were called toga praetexta, and they were a white toga with like a purple frame around it, which is exactly what we see. So very, very good.
Alright. Hands on the mausoleum floor. Blood stains the Colosseum doors.
This ring belonged to Maximus. Now I give it to you.
So Pedro Pascal's character, Acacius, is noted to be a significant Roman general. Did they fight in the gladiatorial events? No. There are rare examples, like I said, with people similar to the Roman emperors like Commodus, where they would do kind of more staged fights. They're not going to be fighting your normal everyday slave in gladiatorial combat. But it's needed for the plot in the movie. I see the point, and I'm not going to complain for obvious reasons. What's also a cool detail is that we see in Pedro Pascal's armor that he has what I think is the head of Medusa on his breastplate. And this was like a common decoration for breastplates because they thought it had some amount of protective power. Who is Medusa? Medusa, depending on the mythological source, is a gorgon who had snakes for hair. And famously, if you made eye contact with her, she would turn you to stone. So it makes sense why that was protective. I'm also not crying, I just poked myself in the eye. I'm so sorry. Then we see Lucilla give this ring to Lucius Verus. I do like the kind of hint at the historical reality where obviously she was involved in conspiracies against the Roman Emperor Commodus. So we're kind of getting that with her now conspiring against Caracalla.
What is the dream of Rome? That people are not free.
I was owned. Now I will control an empire.
I will not waste another generation of young men for their vanity.
Strength among us!
This how Rome treats its heroes!
Hands on the mausoleum floor. Blood stains the Colosseum doors.
The gods have spoken!
I think that about does it. So regardless of some of the inaccuracies, I'm generally really excited for this movie. I think it's going to be fantastic. And like every other movie of this genre, I think it's going to play a really important role in getting younger generations interested in these topics because they're not going to get into it necessarily from a boring, thick textbook. It's movies like this and like my favorite, The Mummy, that make people want to study this and pursue it as a career. So I'm really excited, and the way that they have stayed true to so much of the history, I trust them. I think it will be good. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed my first video back. I'm sorry if it was all over the place. We'll get back into the flow. The sun has also gone down, so the lighting's gone weird. Everything is fine. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this kind of content so that you don't miss out, and give this video a massive thumbs up if you loved it. Even if you didn't, I don't care. It would really help me out, so you could do that anyway because it won't affect you. Anyway, have a lovely rest of the day and love you lots. Bye!